Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Emad and I'm a US engineer. Today I'm gonna make an AI chatbot using the latest Apple Foundation framework, the Apple built-in LLM, which released with iOS 26 this week. As you can see, we're gonna make something similar to the iMessage, but with the ability to chat with the Swift built-in LLM. What am I gonna cover? How to use these models, how to give persona or instructions to the model, how to handle errors. The focus is mainly on the foundation models. I'm gonna create more videos regarding that and elaborate on this app. So make sure to subscribe and follow me to get updated. All right, let's begin. There are some prerequisites in order to be able to do this. One of them is to have Xcode 26. Right now it's on beta version, so I'm using the beta version. And you also need a device running on an iOS 26. For some reason, this does not work on simulators, at least not on the macOS I'm using. I'm not using the latest one. So maybe if you use the latest one, it will work. But you need a device with a working iOS 26 on it in order to test this. Okay, let's begin. Let's talk about the model. These models are built into the device, so they're not connected to the online world, so they're not suitable to use in order to get the latest news or latest data or something like that. So Apple made a list of what these models are suitable for. As Apple said, it's best for summarization, extraction, classification, tagging, composition, and revision. So it also has some sort of a general knowledge about everything around the world, but it's not updated, of course. They're going to improve it over time, of course. But one thing you should consider is that these LLMs are super private. The privacy comes first on this because it's on device, runs on device, everything is on device, and it's not going to share. And one of the good things about it is that it's going to work offline as well. It's not dependent on the internet. So with that said, let's begin to make our AI chatbot. For the sake of time, I have already built the UI using the liquid glass design, the latest design for Apple. So it's pretty cool, and I'll give you the file, the source file, so you can see it for yourself and play around with it. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to talk about how to build this design. Hopefully you already know how to do it. It's Swift UI. I create different components, so you can play around and see how it works. But this is a basic message view. As you can see, it's quite similar to iMessage. So you can basically chat and see how it works. All right, this view has something called send message. And when you use a tap on a send button, it will do the send message. It will check the data, if it's correct or not, and validations and everything. So, and also take care of the animations. And it will call something called view model process message. This process message for now is just returning a hello world, and whatever you say, it's going to return hello world. Doesn't matter. So let's begin to use this cool LLM made by Apple and built for Swift. It's actually quite convenient to use it. To use it is just simple as this. You can say let session as a language model session and instantiate it. This language model session creates a session with a language model. Then you can basically talk to it and wait for the responses. And yeah, that's it. You create a connection to the large language model. We're going to elaborate on that. There's so many things you need to know about it. But for now, we're just going to use that. And then in order to use and ask the language model to respond to our questions or our inputs, what we're going to do is just like do, because it's a throwable respond. It can come with an error, so we need to catch those errors. There are some specific errors for different use cases, but we're going to talk about that later. In order to use it, we're going to call it let respond try session. Try await, because it's a asynchronous thing. Session dot respond to. As simple as that. How cool is this? So you can actually say the session to respond to what user says or whatever input you want to give it. So in this case, we just want to respond to the input that user makes. Of course, there's an error because we are not catching errors. We need to catch error because it's a throwable, as I said. So you want to read more, you can just go here and see what the session is, what you can do with the sessions, what are they responding to, what parameters does it get, what is responding to you, and so on. So for now, we're going to use just respond, and let's check it out. And for the catch, when there's an error, I'm just going to return sorry, can't understand. Try again. Simple as that. And of course, another, because I'm not returning a string, this function requires a returning string. So I'm gonna do respawn.content. And of course, I'm gonna need a return. There you go. Voila, you made your very first chat bot using the Swift's LLM. So I'm gonna run this and see how it works. Hopefully it works. I'm gonna say hi. Tell a joke. As you can see, it's working very good, very fine. And there's a problem though. The problem is, like, if I say another one, this LLM does not know the context of what I'm talking about. What is another one? Let's see how it responds. See? Why is that? Let's fix it. As you can see, I've used the session inside the function. So whenever we are calling this function, we are creating a new session. So this new session does not have any idea about the other session that we were talking about. So in order to fix this, I need to keep this alive so it understands the context and the history of what we were talking about. So there is a reason behind it, and you can read more about it on documentation. I'm not gonna, for the sake of the time, I'm not gonna talk about it. Like, there's a transcript that this language model has some sort of transcript of all the history and all the chats and all the responses and questions and everything. And it also has a limit, and if you hit that limit, the session needs to be restarted. And there is some way to actually feed the model and say, okay, these were the things that we were talking about. So it has some sort of idea. But we're going to talk about it later, not now. So this should solve the issue because the session is alive and we're not creating a new session whenever we are asking for a response. Let's run this and try. There you go. Now it understands the context. Now it knows how to respond, and everything works perfectly. Let's get back to the code. So this is it. Basically, you made your very own first chatbot using the LLM foundation frameworks, foundation model frameworks. This is so cool. This is so easy to use. I mean, this is crazy how easy it is. So you can do more with this session with these language models. One of the cool things that you can do is giving instructions to the model using this parameter instructions. So what does this instruction do? It gives some sort of a persona to this session, to this language session. You actually tell your language model how to respond, give some sort of a personality to it. For instance, let's say you're creating a game, or you want something to, for instance, like this assistant is just a travel agency assistant, for instance. Then you just give instructions saying like, okay, you are an helpful travel journey assistant, something like that. Or for this case, I'm gonna use something, say you are a funny assistant that answers all the questions in a funny way and also tell funny jokes. Okay, now we gave some sort of persona to the language model, and it has some sort of personality and it knows how to respond. So this is very handy and useful if you want to give some sort of persona, and if there's like a use case for your chatbot, you can basically describe it like this and it will consider this and will answer based on this. And instructions always comes first. Yeah, as easy as that. So let's run this and see how it works. Yeah, there you go. As you can see, as funny as it can get. This is so cool. And now you can ask questions. I don't know. How tall is LeBron James? Let's see how it answers. There you go. Now you made your very own chatbot that works offline and using the Swift's LLM. Uh, to talk more about different things, I'm gonna create more sessions, more videos for this, and talk more deeply into it, and maybe elaborate this app. There is so much more into these language model sessions. You can use toolings, for instance. Toolings is super cool. One of the things, one of the use cases is, for instance, if I ask for a location or if I ask for, I don't know, create a travel journey for me for a certain place, you can use tooling and you can tell that these language models that they can use this data from, for instance, locations, and you can find something using the basic Swift locations and feed it to the language model, and then it knows. Then you can use and show that to the user on the map, for instance, if you want. And also, there's something called generables, where you can actually talk to the language model and say, okay, I want some answer from you, but I want a solid Swift type for it. For instance, if I ask you what's your name, give me a respond in a Swift model, and let's have two variables called name and last name, for instance, and it will automatically generate the response with that model, so you can use that model inside your views or whatever. It's super cool, and you can use guides, and you can guide how to actually uh, guide the language model to generate those types for you. It's a whole other world, and I'm gonna talk about it in the next videos, and I'm gonna elaborate on this chatbot. You can download this source code right now. I'm gonna leave the link below. Make sure that subscribe to follow and like the video if you liked it, and let me know what do you think about it. I'm very excited. There's lots of possibilities to do with this. It's super cool. Of course, not as useful as ChatGPT, but it can be very handy when you're using it inside your app, and you can have your personal assistant offline. That's super cool. Thank you so much for watching this. Hope you liked it. I'm very new to YouTube. If you have any comments, if you can help me improve, please do. I read them with care, and I'm deeply gonna reflect to what your comments are. And yeah, have a lovely day. And this is it. Thanks for watching. Bye.